And Joe Rossano, Joe Rossano's Orioles report. Orioles open up a 3-game set in Kansas City tonight. We got Kyle Bradish, Seth Lugo. Orioles dropped 3 out of 4 to the Cleveland Guardians, 2 games below 500. A lot of noise out there about who's getting sent down, who's coming up. And some critics say that, although not on the hot seat, the fans are second guessing the hiring of Craig Albernaz. Matt Faulkner, what say you?
No, so good to see you as always, Joe. Big series this coming this next couple games here against Kansas City. Outside of the Mets, there's probably not a team that's playing worse baseball than the Royals right now. 7 losses in a row. They were swept over the weekend by the Yankees. Um, but this is a Royals team that seemingly has had the Orioles number the last couple of years. So it's not a series that I'm going into with a ton of confidence. Even though the Royals are not playing very good baseball, they somehow always play pretty well against the Orioles. And so excited to see Kyle Bradish tonight. He's obviously not gotten off to a very good start in 2026. Hopefully he can give us some length, get us through, 6 innings or so, and the Orioles can score some runs. But I can tell you that Seth Lugo is a really good arm, and he's pitched really well this season. He's got an ERA under 2, and pitched against the Orioles last year, gave up 1 run in 6 innings. So, that they're going to have their hands full offensively with Seth Lugo on the mound.
Well, Seth Lugo, no surprise, has pitched well for a number of seasons. Started off as a reliever, was transitioned to a starter, and I think he has been one of the key cogs in the rebuild that we've seen in Kansas City. In addition to Bobby Witt Jr. and Michael Garcia, among others, Vinny Pasquantino, and now Jack Caglione in right field, and he will be in right field tonight. This is a good team. And again, we 2024 playoffs swept the Orioles uh, again for the second time in as many
Mm-hmm.
seasons. So yeah, I mean, I uh, I got to tell you, we've put some polls out. The folks definitely want to hold on to Adley Rutschman. But I have honestly, and put it in the chat, folks, I've been critical of Craig Albernaz, and I've been public in that criticism. And I am not saying to fire Craig Albernaz. That's not what I'm saying, and that is not what I'm insinuating, and that's not even close to happening. I just question the hire period. I wanted a more experienced manager. I wanted a Joe Madden. I wanted a Ron Washington, someone along that line, and unfortunately, it just didn't happen. So there is the link there, folks. If you want to join us live, we'd love to have you here. You can chat with us, and oh my goodness, here we go. We're already the
Oh no.
stash, handsome Matt Faulkner.
Yeah.
I told you they love you out there, Matt Faulkner.
Yeah, right. Got some
They love
fans
you
out
out
there.
there, and some. I is that a new stash or is the stash
Well,
longer now?
a little bit. So to be honest, my when I was trimming my beard the other day, my razor died, and I kind of just left it. And I'm like, I might rock it for a few days. So I go to the barber on Wednesday, so we'll see if I keep it. I don't know, but yeah, something different. It's getting warmer,
You
so that's the
young
other thing
guys can get
too.
away with anything.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see what happens. But talking about Albernez, I'm going to completely disagree with a lot of what I've seen social media wise in terms of the criticism that Albernez has received from some folks. I understand your point in terms of a manager with experience. Does it look a little bit differently now as opposed to a manager in his first year? I don't know. But at the end of the day, the manager, I mean, ultimately, he's not on the mound. He's not at the plate. He can only run the lineup out there, and he can only make the decisions that he sees best fit. So, do I necessarily think that they're suddenly a World Series contender with Joe Madden? Not necessarily. With some of these injuries that they've had and some of the guys that they are missing, it's not a complete team. And there are holes in this roster without question, even if they're healthy. but we haven't really even gotten a glimpse as to what this roster was supposed to look like because it hasn't been healthy and it started in spring training. And so I'm willing to give Alvarez plenty of time um, before I'm rushed into judgment. I mean, what I can say about him, he's a tough guy. What he takes the foul ball off the face, breaks his jaw, and he's still in the dugout the next day. I mean, so the players seem to want to play for him. It just hasn't obviously been a great start, but a lot of baseball to be played.
Well, but that's the question. Are they playing for him? You see, you're a baseball coach. I was a coach. I was a soccer captain. Okay. And the one thing I have to give all the teams I played for, and I give credit to our coaching, was we didn't beat ourselves. Right. And the Orioles have beat themselves several times this season. Sloppy defense, inconsistent hitting, strikeouts are, I got to tell you, I'm going to go this far, Matt Faulkner. These strikeouts are getting on my nerves. It's every single game. Somebody has got to strike out 3 or 4 times. Two players with 4 strikeouts in one game, two golden sombreros. Again, I understand hit a home run or strike out. I got it. And if you want to watch baseball, that's what you're going to get. But again, it would seem to me, okay, is that an experienced guy like me, respectfully to everybody, um, you know, they wouldn't be playing as poorly fundamentally, I feel, with more veteran guidance because, you know, first time them, first time him. I mean, this is his first year as a big league manager, and this is a team with the Pete Alonsos, okay, the Trevor Rogers tonight, Kyle Bradish, uh, uh, Gunnar Hendersons, et cetera. This team is supposed to be a postseason team, and to bring a first-year manager especially with a young team that is primed to go to the postseason, I would have just thought that a more seasoned manager would have been considered. But again, I assume these folks are smarter than I am.
So I'll counter that. I'm not saying that Alvarez is he is not able to be criticized. I'm not saying that at all. But I think what you're saying, and I totally get it. I think it's more of an indictment on their player development. What's going on in the minor leagues? Because we've seen this over the last a handful of years. How many times have the Orioles brought a prospect up to the major league level and he struggled mightily, particularly at the plate? I mean, you remember Jackson Holiday, right? How big of a deal it was when he was first brought up to Baltimore. I think he made it 2 weeks before they sent him back to AAA because he was not getting it done at the plate. He was looking overmatched. Kobe Mayo is another one, right? Where he gets sent down to AAA and he's tearing it up, but he comes up to the big league level and obviously it's a problem. Same thing, Heston Kjerstad. I mean, the list goes on and on. And you compare the Orioles to some of these other teams when they're bringing up these guys that are 20, 21-year-old high prospects, they're coming to the big league level and they are, they're hitting the ground running. They're not having horrible starts where they're getting sent back down to AAA. And so I think a lot of their problems start in the minor league development or lack thereof.
Okay, Matt. You know what? That's why they gave you the job here. That was a
Uh,
brilliant piece of analysis. I think we'll
yeah.
use that one as the sound bite. I mean, think about this. Colton Cowser, overrated. Overrated. Okay. Uh Here's something sacrilegious. Adley Rutschman, overrated. He was supposed to be Joe Mauer. He was supposed to be Johnny Bench. That is what they told us that he was, and he is not. Okay, the only couple of prospects that have been what they should have been is Gunnar Henderson, somebody we probably hope to see sometime in the next 8 years, figuratively speaking, is Jordan Westberg. And Kyle Bradish was a surprise. But yeah, I mean, Dylan Beavers hitting fourth tonight. Um, no, excuse me, in the number 3 hole tonight. I mean, it's the same thing you see on all of the message boards last season, and you remember this, man. Bring
Mhm.
Dylan Beavers up. Bring it
I was
up.
I hand up. I was one of
And
those guys.
and he
I
did
stand
what?
accused. Yeah.
He did what? He's doing what? Has he got 8 home runs? I mean, what's he doing? I
Well,
mean,
part
I like him. You like him. He's a good baseball player. But I mean, again, the young man is not, a top flight baseball player.
the
And
one
it's
thing
like all these guys came up and they're all overrated. It's sad.
Well, the one thing that I will say about the Orioles, um, in terms of the pitching, because that's the other part of it, right? They have not been able to develop pitching from their draft picks, their free agent signings, right? Grayson Rodriguez was kind of their last guy that really got to the big league level, and then they traded him, and he's obviously had injuries and some issues staying healthy. But that's the other piece. It's like you look at some of the drafts that the Orioles have had over the last couple of years, and I understand this isn't football, so the draft for Major League Baseball is substantially different than the NFL, where you only get 7 picks, and you're probably drafting more for need than for overall, who's the better player. If you don't need a quarterback, you're
Sure.
not taking a quarterback in the first round. But if you look back at the last couple of years with the Orioles, it's like they don't take pitching very high in the draft, and they're taking catchers, they're taking shortstops and trying to move, either trade some of those guys like they did to acquire Shane Baz, or they're having to switch positions. Even last year, the first round pick, the shortstop from Arkansas, and I cannot off the top of my head remember his name. He was the Golden Spikes Award winner in college baseball, that most outstanding player in 2025. But he plays shortstop. So, at some point, you're hopefully planning on keeping Gunner long term. So that's the other thing. I don't necessarily like some of the draft philosophy where they're just punting pitching and adding all these position players that play the same position in hopes that they can convert them to play somewhere else or to trade them.
Let's see here. Weho Aloy. And
Aloy,
I think it's
yes.
we. Is it we? It's Weho, right? Weho
Yeah,
Aloy,
I
right?
believe so. Yeah, he was from Arkansas, played shortstop, had a really good season last year, and the Orioles took him in the first round, yet he's a shortstop.
Well,
Um,
they took him in the first round because Gunnar Henderson wants $350 million. I mean, again, and I'm being gracious here. Probably $405 million. Gunnar
and I
Henderson
also,
wants the big giant money.
well,
Probably
and I
probably
also know
why they
that.
keep taking these guys.
Yeah, well, the other thing is then the development is so much different. I mean, how many first round picks don't ever get to the big league level because they're ineffective, they get hurt. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. So it's not an exact science. I understand it, but at the end of the day, it to me, it's more of an indictment. A lot of what you've been talking about with Albert, as I think is more of a minor league systemic issue that we've seen really since Mike Elias has taken over as GM of the Orioles.
Fans love Buck Britton down there in the minor leagues, or they
Yeah, yeah,
did.
yeah.
They love him. And I mean, again, at the end of the day, if you go player by player, all right, Adley Rutschman, and I mean, again, I know a lot of people like him, and I like him. I'm an Orioles fan. I want him to do well. Adley Rutschman has not been what they said he was. Okay. Colton Cowser, 2024 Rookie of the Year runner up. Overrated. I hate to say that. Dylan Beavers, same thing. I mean, Samuel Basayo. Now, let me tell you where he gets a pass here. First of all, he was never touted as being a very good catcher in the first place, and that's not what he's doing here. He's catching so much because Rutschman's hurt, but that'll all even out. He if he hits 210 with 25 to 30 home runs, that's what the Orioles got for that contract for that 8 years, $68 million, somewhere around there. I think that's right. Uh, that is what they paid for He is never going to hit 260, 270, 280 in his life. He's a 210, 215 guy, 25, 30 home run guy, is what Samuel Basayo is. Um, but at the end of the day, I just want someone to come in, an outside, I don't know, consultant to stop these godforsaken strikeouts. I'm
Mm.
telling you, it's like you can't enjoy the game anymore because these guys strike out every single at bat. It seems. I mean, Pete Alonso, did he strike out that much with the Mets? Did he? I mean, I
Well,
didn't watch much Mets, but did he?
no, I mean, he struck out. I don't know that it was to the level that it is right now. And it seems like the power that we were kind of banking on hasn't shown up yet either. He's got what, 2 home runs? So obviously he's not playing up to his capabilities. But I'm going to counter to the Basayo take. I think that you're undervalued. I think you're underselling the talent that he has. If you look at his minor league numbers, right, 5 seasons, he was a 283 average. So do I think that he's going to hit
Okay.
280? Do I think he hits 280 as an everyday big leaguer? No. But I think that his average probably is somewhere between 240 to 260, which is right now kind of a big league average. I mean, as sad as that is, I mean, it used to be if you're hitting 250 or below, you weren't probably starting, but now it's like 250 is kind of almost like hitting 280 or 290 back
300.
in. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Gone are the days of Todd Helton who was hitting 300. You've got a couple guys, Ariuz with the Twins. There's a handful of those guys, but average is gone. The bullpens that teams have, they have all these guys throwing 100 miles an hour, multiple pitches. The analytics, I mean, it's harder to hit than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, and guys are throwing harder and they have better stuff in many cases. And so I think it is harder to hit, and so the strikeouts are an unfortunate product of that. Now, the issue that the Orioles have had, if you look at it, is in key like situations. So it's not that you're just striking out; it's you're striking out and not making contact with guys on second and third and no outs or with one out, and that seemingly
100%.
has happened the last couple years. You go back, you mentioned this earlier at the beginning when they were swept by Kansas City in the wild card 3 years ago. I mean, it was the same thing the whole second half of the season. I mean, the situational hitting was non-existent. Contact was an afterthought. I mean, heck, Colton Cowser, you mentioned him. Colton Cowser broke his thumb in game 3 of that, or game 2, I guess, of that wild card series, swinging at a pitch that hit him. I remember that it was a left-handed reliever they brought in with the bases loaded, and he threw like a two-seam fastball with two
Would have
strikes, and
tied the
Cowser's.
game.
Yeah, exactly. It was a one-run game. I think they were shut out.
Yeah.
Swings and
Yep.
breaks his thumb on a ball that hit him. So it's contagious
They're
too. It's
trying
like
to do
anything.
too much.
I think
These guys,
so.
they're young, they're cowboys. They got too much to prove. We got a few things from the viewers here. So
Mhm.
we got a Jonesy 6442. What's y'all thoughts on Vance Honeycutt? Is he going to be another bust prospect? Well, here. Let me tell you what's going to happen there, Jonesy, and I'll let you weigh in as well, Matt.
Mhm.
Is it's going to be a month from now where everybody is going to be out there saying, "Bring him up." Bring up Honeycutt. He had 4 straight home runs against a guy who's selling cars now in spring training. Is he a bust? I mean, I don't know, but what I'm saying is that it just seems like somewhere along the line that these again, see, and this is what I don't blame Elias for. I mean, picking Adley Rutschman was probably a no-brainer. I mean, now you did have Bobby Witt Jr. sitting there. Let me be clear there. But picking Jordan Westberg and picking Colton Cowser and Heston Kjerstad, um, I mean, that is what I think any GM would have done. They were the best players in those draft positions. It's I just it there's look, if you're as good enough of a baseball player, and we both played, Matt, and you're that good in high
Mm.
school, you get to go to college and play Division 1 baseball. You're that good, and then you get drafted to play baseball. What is the disconnect? How was Cowser so good to get drafted in the first round and
Mhm.
be as bad as he is? Rutschman. I mean, I think there's something to what you're saying. Something's going on in the minor leagues. Now they were supposed to take pitches in the minor leagues. That was supposed to be the philosophy. But again, is Vance Honeycutt going to be a bust? I mean, I got to tell you what, we don't have a very good track record, Matt Faulkner. What say you?
No, I mean, Honeycutt was a 2024 draft pick, so he's only really been playing 2 years of professional baseball, 2 full seasons. But I mean, yes, he had a really good spring training, hit some home runs, and got some opportunities and made the most of it. But I'm just pulling up his numbers in high A. He's at with Frederick with the Keys, and he's hitting 205, and he's got 26 strikeouts and 44 at bats. So that's another
Say
guy that you could just
he's a
add to the list. I mean,
bust,
and
Jonesy.
that was the issue the year before, 178 strikeouts and 374 at bats. So that was their issue with him, last year. And while the spring training stuff was nice to see, it doesn't appear like that was anything that we're going to be able to kind of hold any stock to. So would I say that he's a bust? I wouldn't. But do I think that they're going to get first round value out of him? Is he going to be an Oriole in the next year or two? I would be very doubtful if that happens. Very doubtful.
I would be too. And so, what do we got here? We got Gerald Perry Jr., Orioles draft prospect, and move them to new positions. Doesn't work out, and stuck with trash teams. Can't draft pitchers or develop any huge clown show time for Mike Elias. Needs to go. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm the Oriole general manager and president of baseball operations. Now, I think that Mike Elias has made mistakes, especially with not signing a front of the rotation guy going into the season. I knew this was going to be a problem, and I was right again. Um, but I mean, if I am drafting players in 2020, 2021, 2022, etc. These are probably the guys I'm taking. Jackson Holiday not only went number one overall, but he was the number one prospect in baseball. So, again, and it's been a struggle for Holiday, and it just seems like for some reason it's just I don't know if Holiday played for San Diego for some reason,
Mm,
it seems to me that he'd be better. I don't know. Somebody brought up an interesting point, man, and then we can revisit this.
mm.
When Craig Albernaz took over the Orioles, what did he keep Drew French for, of all people? I mean, usually a new manager brings in all of his people, and you mean to tell me he didn't have a pitching coach other than to keep Drew French? I was surprised to see that, Matt.
Yeah, no, that point's well taken. I'm like you. I don't know I don't know the ins and outs of the reason why they chose to hang on to Drew French. Um, it's the same thing with Buck Britton was another holdover. I think probably because of feedback. I think that may have been a huge factor in terms of the player feedback. They must like working with those guys. But it is interesting because you would think that if you knew you were going to be in position to take over a major league team as a first year manager during that interview process, and even I would imagine a long time before that, you probably had a short list of guys that in the event that you were hired as a manager that you would want to bring on as a pitching coach. I mean, is that fair?
Yeah, it is very fair. I mean, again,
So
who so was that not Albie's decision? Because I just can't imagine that it wasn't. I mean, or again, there you go. That may be the explanation, Matt. That it may not have been his decision. Period.
I wouldn't be
Never
surprised
thought of
if
that.
yeah, if he really wasn't. I'm not saying that he didn't have some pull with that, but I would be surprised if French if it wasn't suggested to look into keeping this guy because otherwise you would have just got rid of him. Once you got rid of Mancelino and the rest of those guys. Um, but before we got what a couple minutes before the first pitch. What are your thoughts on the Orioles lineup as it is through 22 games in terms of are you for or against bumping up guys like Tavares, Jackson, and moving some guys that are struggling down? Because to me, you look at the lineup tonight, and I understand that we're only 22 games into the season and it's a lot of games to be played. But you look at the 3, 4, 5 hitters for the Orioles in this lineup and their averages, it just looks like what are we running out there every night, right? Dylan Beavers is hitting third. I don't know. I love Dylan Beavers. I think he's going to be a solid player. I don't know if he's a three hitter. Pete Alonso, they're still running him out as the cleanup guy. He's hitting 200, and then for whatever reason, Sam Basayo is hitting fifth, hitting a buck 40. And so those guys are getting a lot of at bats, and it's like, at what point do you try to shake things up instead of just running it out time and time again and expecting it to be different?
Well, at the end of the day, who do you put out there? And, we just put out the lineup for Kansas City, which is Michael Garcia. He'll be at third base leading off. Bobby Witt Jr. At shortstop in the number 2 hole. Vinny Pasquantino hitting third at first base. DHing tonight, Salvador Perez. Catching Carter Jensen called up recently. Michael Massey at second base, hitting sixth. Jack Cagaglione, I'm an Italian, hitting seventh. You got Isaac Collins in left field hitting eighth and hitting ninth. Kyle Isbell in center field. And for the Orioles, so let me put this out here as well. Leading off, I don't want to shock anyone, is going to be Gunnar Henderson at shortstop. We have, for whatever reason, and I don't like this, Taylor Ward in the number 2 hole, shorts at in left field. Dylan Beavers, as you said, designated hitter. Pete Alonso at first base. Samuel Basayo will be back behind the plate tonight, hitting fifth. Jeremiah Jackson, what a surprise, or two others except me, hitting sixth at second base. Colton Cowser in left field, hitting seventh. Leody Taveras, been one of the hotter Orioles, hitting eighth in center field. And Blaze Alexander at third base, hitting ninth. Now, Matt Faulkner, my lineup. Okay, I'm Oriole manager tonight. Ready? Batting
I'm ready. I'm
first,
listening.
Leody Tavares. Tavares
Wow.
leading off. Okay, uh, switch hitter can run. Okay, move Jeremiah Jackson up to the number 2 hole. Okay, he makes contact. Then Gunnar Henderson hitting third. Okay, he protects Jeremiah Jackson. Okay, Pete Alonso hitting fourth protects Gunnar. Okay. Yep. You keep Samuel Basayo in the number
Oof.
5 hole. Okay. So, yeah. And number 6, again, no, actually, yeah, no, number 6 is Colton Cowser. And then you can funnel in the Blaze Alexanders or, the whomever else can bat 7, 8, or 9, because again, Kobe Mayo or whomever else. But that would be my top 6 guys anyway. Where'd I go really wrong there?
Well, you're you're
No, I'm
banking.
sorry. Taylor Ward would hit fifth,
Yeah, there you
and
go.
then in the number 6 hole, thank you, Matt, would be Basayo. So yeah, I mean, again, Taylor Ward now protects Pete Alonso. Okay, and he's an RBI guy. Now he just hit his first home run, a 3-run homer. Get him out of the first or second hole for God's sake, and get him behind Alonso so he could drive in runs.
Well,
Please listen to
that
me, Albie. Go ahead. Where am I wrong?
that well, I'm not putting Tavares and Jackson as pleasantly surprised as I am with their starts. I would not have them 1-2 back to back. I think if anything, you move Jeremiah Jackson up to maybe hitting him second, and you put Gunner as your leadoff guy. Um, to me, Basayo's got to be bumped down significantly. The fact that they keep putting him, fourth, fifth, sixth, somewhere in there. I mean, he's struggling. I think catching every day, that's a huge wear on a guy mentally. So I'd move him down, take a little bit of pressure off of him. But it's interesting if you look at the lineup tonight as constructed. The Orioles are left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. And I don't know if there's a reason behind that or not. I don't know if this lineup has been run out there before, but I did notice that how they're for the first time in kind of that order.
They're throwing crap against the wall and saying a prayer that somebody can get a hit. So we got right
Yeah,
now Orioles baseball coming up. We have Kyle Bradish, Seth Lugo, Orioles versus the Kansas City Royals in game one of this series for the brilliant Michael Sullivan, the handsome Matt Faulkner. I am Joe Rossano. We greatly appreciate you hanging out with us. Enjoy the game. God bless you. Don't forget, as you know, Matt Faulkner, to adopt a pet, sir. Okay, adopt that
yeah.
bird back here. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
That was fun.